I feel like I shouldn't have to prompt the key holder to push the button.
Well, I was getting through our preliminaries, announcing about the construction noises in the background and whatnot. So I feel called out now and attacked.
Darla, hello.
Hello, Kirk. Long time no see.
Yeah, I saw you like 5 hours ago.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
And you, Darla, every morning. So we're recording this on a Thursday, and Darla and I work together in the gym in a small group from like 7 to 8. But Darla's already at the door before the gym opens, an hour and 15 minutes before that, because Darla gets her cardio in on either the treadmill or something. So I like open the gym at like 5:50, and guess what car's always in the lot waiting for me to open the stupid door? Darla.
Me. Yeah,
That
and I had to
shocks me.
drive from Woodbury to get there.
That shocks me zero. The little I know about you, Darla.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Darla, we last time I chatted with you,
Mhm.
did you look back and see when it was?
No, but I know I was living at my old place, so it was probably over 3 years ago.
I was on
We're due
vacation. I think it might have been Ireland.
Yeah, we're due for a chat
Yeah.
because you've never chatted with Darla. So actually, I'm
No.
leaving, and Brakken, you can take this thing.
I have a lot
I'm
of
gonna go take a
questions.
nap. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But
Yeah, Kirk is sick of me.
I see you all the time. See you all the
He
time.
ran
She
the
came all
time.
the way down to Zumbro to watch the race, even though you couldn't run.
I know, I had FOMO.
Well, you didn't. Well, you were there. That's halfway better.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it was fun watching you the little bit I got to see you.
Yeah, you guys
And
didn't
the best
make it
part
on the
was
course very well.
no, we didn't. We didn't have that mapped out very well. I have an idea for her if she does it again next year. She should go, you know where the parking lot is, and you know how when you come out and you make that turn and go down the straight, but you're right by the parking lot
Mhm.
like she should backtrack from there.
I agree.
Do
Shit.
you know what I'm
The
saying?
problem Jess had is she had two people on the IR dragging her down.
I know, and I told her, I'm like, just go run. Don't let us drag you down. But she was like, no, I'm okay. Yeah, I know she didn't want to ditch us, but she should
So we're
have.
starting with bad news. You're actively injured right now?
I'm not injured anymore. I was very injured before, but I had a full knee replacement on December 23rd, so I'm in recovery mode.
December 23rd. They go all the way right up to Christmas.
Right up to Christmas. So Christmas Eve, I got released from the hospital on Christmas Eve. So I was kind of out of it on Christmas Day. My kids were having fun with it. I was a little drugged up.
Did Santa still come?
Hell yeah. Oh, can I swear on here? Yes.
Yes, you can.
Santa did all the shopping in advance so that we were ready to go.
The reason, the reason we're talking today really is you haven't done anything profound at all recently, which is exactly why I want to talk to you. First
Not
of
since
all,
last October.
it's been a bit. And second of all, I told you this morning when I came up to you on the treadmill, but Jess and I were talking about who we should have on the podcast, like coming up, and her first suggestion was you. The first person she said was you. Like, why don't you talk to Darla again? She's got all this stuff going on. And I know you were top of mind because she had just seen you at the recent race. But then I got to thinking, and I was literally, this is how last minute this was, Darla. Like, I was like, that's a good idea. I'll think about that. And then I'm watching you over there on the treadmill this morning at 5:55 or whatever it is, hiking away because you can't run yet. And I'm like, I had to talk to her. But we should just talk to her now because you're in the midst of coming back from like a knee replacement surgery is a death sentence for your running as far as traditional medicine is concerned. And I'm going to have you end up listing through the surgeries you've had throughout your entire life and the constant speed bumps you've had. And then the conversation of mindset and how to get through this with a smile, which you do. And so that's how this came to be. And Brakken and you have a bit in common there, I feel like.
Yeah, Brakken, you seem like you've had a lot of surgeries in recent years.
Yeah, I think you have me beat with severity, and maybe
Yeah.
number as well.
I'm
But
sure number 2, unfortunately, but I've got a lot more years on you too,
yeah,
so
but this is
you'll
this is
catch up.
important. When Kirk said why he
I
wanted
hope
to
he doesn't
talk.
catch up, by the way, but
Yeah, I hope not too, actually, I shouldn't put that on him.
Yeah, don't challenge me. But when Kirk told me why he wanted to chat, I thought, good. Because I used to have this thing I said where I was pretty convinced I would eventually tear an ACL or an Achilles or something because I played too much basketball and flag football and
Mhm,
things. Everyone I know
mhm.
eventually tears one of those things if you're middle aged and playing these things. And I always
Yeah.
thought if I was late enough into my 30s, I would probably just let that be it. I would just switch to lifting and
Mm, uh,
just live out my life. And then I had my first knee surgery at what, like 32 or something. And obviously I didn't stop. But then I hear other people or people I work with are like, I've got this knee hanging on by a thread. And honestly, once it goes, I think I might just be done. It's telling me enough's enough. I don't want to go through a 13-month rehab. At my age, it's probably not worth doing this thing anymore. And I've heard that sentiment several times. And so I think this is a very important message for those out there who are sharing that mentality that when it finally does happen to me, that'll just be the end of my athletic journey.
yeah, no, they gotta switch that thinking.
tell us more about why they have to switch that thinking, Darla.
Well, it depends on their lifestyle beforehand, but if they were an active athlete and to go and say, "Okay, I'm not gonna do it anymore," that would, to me, be a death sentence. It'd be like telling me to chop off a leg or something, like, that would kill me. And when that's why I've been putting this so kinda reeling back the clock, like, in 2009 no, 18 is when I first started tearing stuff in my knee. I think the first thing was meniscus, so they went in and just cleaned it up. Uh, then, I started tearing cartilage, and, I remember I was walking my dog one day, she's a big girl, and she pulled me hard, and I stepped wrong, and I just felt this shearing pain. So I gimp back home and go into, TRIA and had an MRI, and I tore most of my cartilage. There was, like, a teeny tiny bit left on the lateral side, the outside of my leg. And the doctor then was like, "Yeah, your running days are over." And I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" "No, no, 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 no. I know people that have kept running after they, had cartilage torn." And he's like, "Okay, well, listen, I'll work with you here. We can do a tibial osteotomy, and that will help." And so what that entailed was they break or saw your tibia and angle it out laterally so that I'm lined up and putting all my weight bearing on the outside of my knee where I did have a little bit of remaining cartilage so that it would not be as painful bone on bone. So I'm like, let's do it. So I was supposed to be off running for a year after that, but I got back after 9 months. He was like, okay, you're good. Let's go. So but I was still, I mean, a lot of pain. It wasn't pain-free, but I was able to keep going with a little bit of ibuprofen on board or a lot of bit of ibuprofen on board.
It's a story in
Um,
itself, but nonetheless.
yeah. And then in 2020, I was doing remember when Hunter McIntyre did that I don't remember what it was called, but that competition
OCR
online where
stars.
there you go, OCR stars. So I did that, and one of them was to do a 10K. So I was running my 10K around the lakes and finished. I, like, didn't feel any pain the whole way, finished, and I'm not kidding. I stopped, and then the first step I took, my left knee just kind of, like, shooting pain, and it kind of gave out. I'm like, "Now what?" You know? So I go back to get another MRI, and I had torn my ACL. So now I have a torn ACL, torn meniscus is shredded, my meniscus is barely there, and just a tiny bit of cartilage left. So that was 2020, and so I didn't wanna have a full knee replacement at that point. I'm like, I'm not ready. Let's do what we can to keep me going." So then they just, I would alternate. So I would go in for a, cortisone injection And then 3 months later, I'd go in for what's called a Synvisc injection. Have you heard of that, Brakken? Where it's like a thicker material and they inject it into the knee joint and it gives a little bit of a cushioning. It's not a pain reliever, but it's supposed to cushion a little bit. So I would alternate. You can only do that one every 6 months for insurance purposes. So I would do cortisone, Synvisc every 3 months. And I did that from 2020 until 2024. And then it just wasn't
You didn't
working
address your
anymore.
ACL.
I kept running without an ACL,
Okay.
with a torn ACL. Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy, I guess. And then the worst part was when I would do like Big Bear or Tahoe. I couldn't bomb down the mountains. So I
I'm not
literally
laughing
was
at you. Just the concept of Big Bear, Black Diamond ski slopes with no ACL is humorous.
yeah.
The fact that
And
you
And
didn't
she'd
consider
still
not.
win.
like
And
I
she would
would
still win.
I know.
I would still I would crush going up the mountain, right? I'd be in first place. And then coming down, 1 or 2 people would just fly past me. Oh, that would make me so pissed off because I worked so hard. So then I'd have to catch them on the flats and going back up. And so, yeah, the bombing down was not happening because I had no support, you know?
So, a question about where we are so far. Why
Yeah.
you said that you were not ready for a full knee replacement, which I understand not wanting to do it, but
Yeah.
why did you decide not to just get it over with, knowing that every
Okay.
passing second your body will regenerate slower?
Yeah. I guess it was the narrative I was getting from surgeons and people saying, once you do it, you're done running. Once you do it, you're done running.
Okay.
And
That makes
I was
sense.
like, nope, not doing that. And then through a physical therapist guru kind of guy that I'm not going to mention his name, I got a referral to an orthopedic surgeon here that was, worked with high-end athletes and stuff. So I went to him and got a whole different answer. He's like, heck yeah, you can run when you're done. We can do this. We'll get you back. So then I'm like, let's do it. Because I had, at that point, this was like November 2024, just this last fall. I could barely walk. Nothing was working to stop the pain at that point. So I had to. I really had to.
Did you ask him why you got 2 completely different answers from 2 different orthopedic surgeons? Is he doing something different or does he just believe something different?
I'm not sure if he does anything different. I do know that I've talked to people that have had knee replacement right around the same time I did, and they're nowhere near where I'm at in recovery. But I think, what do I know? But I think it was just he knew me and my backstory a little bit better. The other surgeons were more like general pop. You're not gonna. Most people just wouldn't put the training in, the physical therapy in, and it just was gonna that's their end road, right? But this guy knew I was motivated and said, "We can do it." So,
I don't remember because it's been so long. I don't remember ever watching you run without a hitch in your giddy up. Because in
know, Kirk.
2018 or 19, when that first happened, like the fact that she's accomplished, like you've accomplished what you have, like if you'd watched Darla run those 4 years when she was getting the shots and gobbling ibuprofen, which put her in the ER in an ambulance ride, by the way, because of ibuprofen. The last 5 years, I've never seen you run a clean gait. Like I could look at you and be like, something wrong with her. And she's still putting in time on that because you were in so much pain. And you should tell them the ibuprofen warning, I think right off the top, because you mentioned it. What happened with you and ibuprofen, Darla?
Yeah. So, the injections were helping, but it wasn't complete pain relief, right? So, I was medicating with 4 ibuprofen in the morning, 4 at lunch, and 4 at dinner or before bed, right, with food, right? And
And
then,
this is not a big, large woman we're speaking with either. That
no,
would be like me taking 6. just body comp compared to. Anyways,
Yeah.
just weight to medicine ratio. Continue. You're not
Yeah.
a big person. Yes.
No. And then I had, in the midst of all this Brakken knee problems, I tore all 3 hamstring tendons off my, proximally off my uh, pelvic
On the
region
other side?
on the same side.
Same side.
They ripped right off, and so I had to have reconstructive surgery to have those reattached, all 3 of
She
those.
just forgot to mention that, which would be
I
the biggest injury anybody's ever had in their life. So that was also just in the middle of this.
Yeah, I was in the middle of all this knee stuff. But my surgeon gave me a prescription for an oral antibiotic or oral anti-inflammatory, which I kept taking along with all that ibuprofen, and I didn't realize it was in the same class, same family. So that was even more like ibuprofen type medication, besides what I was, the generic ibuprofen. And then one night I was out with a bunch of friends, and I had one shot of oh shoot, I forgot what it was. Anyways, doesn't matter. Had a shot, and I was sitting by my friend, and I'm like starting to feel a little woozy, and I'm like, wow, that was a good shot. But then it started hitting me even harder, and I laid my head on her shoulder, and I'm like, Jackie, I don't feel very good. And so she's got me up and took me to the bathroom, and thank God she's a nurse. And I started vomiting profusely and passed out. And I could remember I was out with a bunch of hockey moms and dads because right after my daughter's hockey game. And I remember all the other women coming in, and I vaguely remember one of them saying, this is more than just one shot of alcohol. And so they called the ambulance, and it's a good thing they did, because my pancreas and my liver were shutting down from all the ibuprofen. And the doctor was like, comes in the room, and he's like, how much did you have to drink tonight? Like, very accusatory. I'm like, I had one shot. And he's like, no, really, it's just you and me. Tell me, how many drinks did you have and how much do you drink? He thought I was an alcoholic because of the status of my liver.
Mhm.
It was so bad. And I'm like, really? And he goes, do you do steroids? I notice you're very fit. And I'm like, oh, I remember I said, I take pre-workout. Like, I was so out of it. Like, that's what I said. And he's like, okay. And I go, but I do take a lot of ibuprofen. And then the light bulb went off for him, and he's like, okay, how much do you take? And then we realized what it was. But it was months, maybe a year, before my liver fully recovered from that. Yeah, so don't overdo ibuprofen, anybody that's listening.
That's scary.
Bad stuff. Yeah, it was scary. And I could have died. I almost died, to be quite frank. I was very close. If they wouldn't have taken me to the hospital, that could have happened.
And
Yeah.
runners abuse ibuprofen. Absolutely.
Mhm. I'm no, I'm not
I
the
it
only one.
used to be like before I had dealt with chronic shin issues, and it'd be nothing for me to take 3, an hour before my long run on the weekend, or 3 before a quality session on a Tuesday. And after your story, I got to be on death's door in order to take it for anything now, because I'm so gun shy of it based on what you had said. But you were taking 12 ibuprofen a day for years,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
that's a different story than taking it for short-term use. But it was
Right.
actually 12 ibuprofen for how long do you
A
think?
day.
For how long in reality?
Well, let's see. 18, 19, 20. This probably happened around 21, maybe 3 years at least.
And during this time, it's no coincidence. It was like you were having tummy troubles when you were
Oh,
running, and you were like all these things. Like you could look back and be like, well, no wonder every time I ran, I had to go to the damn bathroom because
yeah.
my body was so out of whack. It's like so easy to see in hindsight, right? But in the time, you probably think nothing of it. I can buy ibuprofen over the counter. It can't
Yeah.
possibly do this to me.
Right. Right.
I
Also,
think that.
while I'm sure a year for your liver to return to healthy was a long time, it's also
Yeah.
kind of astounding that it can do that.
I know, as damaged as it was,
Yeah.
I was so worried, and she's like, "No, you'll be okay, but no more ibuprofen," and I didn't drink at all for that whole year because alcohol, that scared me. Matter of fact, it took me a while to even take a drink because I was too scared to.
Yeah, your liver enzymes were like, let's say, for example, you have your AST and ALT, and they're supposed to be, so one's supposed to be around 30 or 40, and one should be at 70 or under. And yours were in
Wow.
the multi hundreds each, right?
Hundreds.
Like, yeah,
Mhm.
both. Like you were a lifelong alcoholic of decades.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
yeah, not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you, okay, just because we're on this train, baby. Okay, so all of these things, can you, and I don't know the answer to this or the answers to this. I'm trying to set a stage for people, okay? Can
Okay.
you walk us through all of the surgeries and or notable injuries you have had since birth? I
Since
know,
birth?
yeah, since birth.
Like,
Well,
you want all?
I wanna know, yeah, I do. Like,
Like,
for
even
example,
non-injury?
let's keep it athletic,
Okay.
specific. But for example, I know your first major surgery happened in college or
No,
just
high
after
school.
college. Oh, high school. Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell me.
Okay, started with knee issues in high school. Uh, Meniscus, I think it was just a cleanup, both knees.
Just
I
a
remember
cleanup
it
of the
was
meniscus at, like,
yeah,
16, no big deal, yeah.
yeah, it was yeah. Uh, so that was high but then in high school, um, I started getting severe what I thought were shin splints, right? And I was just icing them and icing them. My coach, just keep icing them. Uh, ugh, the pain. And then when I started running at St. Cloud State, we were we had indoor track too. So those little indoor tracks, that's a lot of pounding. And it got to the point where I couldn't stand up straight. My sciatic nerve was being pinched off. My toenails were turning black and falling off. I'm like, something's wrong. So I went to a doctor and it turned out I had pretty significant compartment syndrome. Do you know what that is, Brakken? So
Yeah.
I had that. And so I had to have anterior compartment releases on both legs. So that was surgery 2, I
Can
think.
you explain a little more about that actually? Because it's not like, I'm not gonna say it's common, but variations of that are probably more common than people realize. And Darla has 2, I don't know, 12 to 18-inch scars along both of her tibias in the front of her shin. You still sport those scars today.
And I know I can see
What
them
what it
still.
Yeah, what is, explain that to people if you could.
Sure. So, it's kinda like compartment syndrome in your I'm sorry, carpal tunnel in your wrist, but it's in your shins. So, your muscles, and your vessels and, like, your blood vessels and your nerves are encased in a fascia, like a connective tissue, a thin connective tissue. And my muscles would expand as when I was running on the track, especially those types my calves were getting big, my muscles. So that expansion was putting pressure and on the nerves and the blood vessels. That's why I was losing circulation to my toes. I was losing the nerve up my back. So what they had to do was go in and they cut that fascia, and so that the muscle can expand and not put pressure on those nerves and muscles anymore.
That's
Basically, in
brutal.
a nutshell. Yeah, it
Uh,
worked.
you went on to run in college.
I kept running. Yep, I was
She
off
ran at
for
Stevens Point, Bracken.
Oh, yeah?
yep, and then, so let's see if I had any more in college. I don't think so. I think that was it. Uh, uh, I can't think of the timeline. I'll just kinda think of what I've had. So then I've had another meniscus cleanup, um, the hamstrings reattached, full knee replacement. I know there's been more than that, Kirk. I
Well,
can't
this is enough. I just know I
oh,
knew big picture, the compartment
yeah,
syndrome young, which is a pretty big surgery actually to have, and then
yeah.
the litany of them in the last, let's call it 8 years of your life. Maybe you had a stretch there where you were healthy. I don't know.
I think yeah, for sure, I did, yeah. Um, After the compartment syndrome, they had me go to a podiatrist, and I got fitted, like, for, uh, inserts for my shoes so that my running gait would be better and take the pressure off And I still wear those to this day. I don't know if I need to or not, but I do. I go in every couple years and get them redone. But um, that helped a lot. So yeah, I think I was pretty healthy the rest of college. Um, and then I started getting into marathons after that. Um, I was pretty I was pretty good there until about 2017, 18. Yeah. And I worked with you, Kirk, what was it, 2014, and trained for my first marathon with you. And I
Mhm.
was injury free.
Mhm.
Yeah, you worked with me like 4 years before I started gimping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, meniscus, by the time you get your second one, that ends a lot of people's running.
Yeah.
And compartment syndrome, more often than not, ends people's running. Loss of cartilage, complete tears, ends people's running. Complete detachments of hamstring can end people's
Of
running.
all 3 attachments.
Complete knee replacement can end people's running. So you've had like 6 career ending or potentially career ending injuries, yet you've just decided to plug through. So I think that's example enough that any one of us can survive any one of those things. But you're on, I don't know if it's the biggest one. Honestly, the hamstring would scare me more than knee. But you're on the full knee replacement. And how has this been now in your return
Yeah.
to activity?
It's been, he did a phenomenal job. I'm so happy with my results. The first month, that wasn't easy. It is very painful. And I'm with my history with ibuprofen. They had me on ibuprofen and Tylenol and then or narcotic. So I was really leery to take pain med, right? And so I tried weaning off way too early of everything, and that was not smart. It really caught up with me. Um, the pain is no joke. Those first 3, 4 weeks. Um, and then it started to get to the point where I was like, okay, I don't think I need to take anything. I can get, but at night I would. Um, but got through that. And, like the first couple weeks of physical therapy, they would give me the exercises to do and I would do them constantly, like laying on the couch, watching TV or, whatever. I was just laying around, but couldn't do much. And so when I went in for week 2 of physical therapy and I was doing things that she was like, I don't know what to do with you. You're way ahead of schedule. So I was supposed to be going in every 2 weeks. So they backed me to once a week so that I could you only get like 10 with insurance. So spread them out a little bit longer. And by the time I finished physical therapy, uh, I was doing pretty much, I'm doing everything back to normal pretty much. And then I had my 6-week follow up with the surgeon. And at first, his physician's assistant was talking to me. And she said, okay, at 6 months, you can start running about 20 miles a week. And I looked at her and I'm like, what? No, he told me I could get back to running full, like more than that. And she's like, nope, that's protocol, 20 miles a week. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Go ask him. I think I can do more than that. And so she went back and talked to him and came back in the room a few minutes later. And she's like, okay. He said, you can run as much as you want. And he wants you to get on, running on the Alter G treadmill. So if you don't know what that is, it's a regular treadmill, but you zip into this bag and it fills up with air and it calibrates your weight. And then you can adjust the percentage of your body weight that's actually hitting the treadmill. So I started that at 2 months, and I'm going to be doing that through the end of May, which will be my 6-month thing. And I started at like 70% and then 75%. And I was telling Kirk on Tuesday I was up to 80% body weight, and it felt good.
Where do you have access to that?
I had my surgery through, it's called TCO here in the Twin Cities, and I just go to the one in Woodbury where I live. Yeah,
That's
it's just right
convenient.
there. Pardon me?
And it's cheap. Like, don't you pay,
I know.
isn't it like
Yeah,
$15 or something, like,
like
ridiculous?
$12 a session. I bought a pack of 10. I'm like, all
Oh,
day, every day. She's like, "I don't know if you'll wanna do this, but this is how much it is." I'm like, "Sign me up." So, I go
Oddly
once
reasonable.
oh, yeah. I go once a week, and I'm only it's supposed to be for a half-hour session, but they let me I was on there for, like, hour and 15 on Tuesday to get my whole workout in, and they don't say a word to me. They just let me go. So, yeah.
So I'm privileged enough to get to chat with Darla on a regular basis, so I know where I can take this conversation, Bracken. But hearing all of that, sometimes I like talking to athletes you work with because like
mhm.
it's like I'm green, and so it's fun to like take control of the conversation, right? Do you
Right.
have any desire to do that right now, or can I steer the ship?
I want you to steer it today, but I do have one last question with the total knee replacement. So, what is the prognosis from an optimist standpoint? You can run,
Mhm.
but what? What's the drawback? What's the
But
long term issue
what, for me or but what for the general
for you?
population? For me. Really no buts. He said, "Do whatever you can do. Go for it." And so, that's what I plan to do. I'm started Kirk has me now on a training plan. I wanna do a high rocks race, never done one. So, gonna do that. I might jump into a Spartan race depending on how my knee is feeling. I'm not gonna be dumb about it. If it's really hurting and swollen, I'm not gonna push it. But I already am signed up for, the Twin Cities 10-mile race that's during the marathon weekend in October. And then I'm signed up for a half marathon in the fall as well that's here in the Twin Cities. So those 2 for sure are on my goal list,
Okay. And is there
and a high rocks race.
arthritis risk now or
There's
tendonitis or
there's nothing left in there. It's all
you're
fake.
just you're good?
Yeah, the reason that they normally put a 20-mile limit on miles per week, I guess, is just the wear and tear on the hardware
Mhm.
in that's in there.
Are you signed up for City of Lakes half?
Yeah,
Oh, we have yet to discuss, I guess.
yeah,
I don't have a race calendar for you put together yet, but I had an idea what
no,
you're thinking.
and high
Oh,
rocks.
yeah, you better sign up the day those races are announced, otherwise you're out of luck. In case you're
You'll
wondering.
have to work with me in that. I don't know. I got a lot more I gotta get stronger.
Um, okay, so you more often hear, let's say, like you say, there's two type of major joint replacements in the lower half: the hip replacement or the knee replacement. Believe it or not, the hip feels like a bigger deal, but it's a notably less big of a deal than the knee. The knee is far more complicated. But I don't know to what degree. Do you know what exactly this is? I should look. I'm sure I could watch a YouTube video on it, but I don't
Mhm.
know. In a hip replacement, they lop off your ball joint, they replace the ball joint, they whatever they got to tighten up in there. Not that it's straightforward by any means, but I can understand.
Mm.
But now you've got your tibia and your femur connecting at your knee and all these other moving parts. Do you know what do they do exactly in there? Do you know this,
Well,
Bracken? Do you know the answer to a knee replacement? Like exactly what happens in there?
Nope.
Okay, good.
I
Tell us.
watched a little bit of video and I did read about it, and I think it was ranked number 1 most painful surgery and hardest to recover from of all surgeries. Because the nurse was telling me they call doctors, orthopedic doctors that do total knee replacements, they call them the carpenters of orthopedics because they literally are in there with a hammer, and they're hammering, like, the pieces onto your bone, and they're not gentle about it. I watched a surgery, I'm like, "Oh, whoa." Um, so I guess I can't give you a really educated answer to that, Kirk, but I can tell you that they add, like, everything that's in there, the joints and the ligaments. I didn't have to have a patella remade for me, mine is still my original, but I had a bunch of bone spurs that they had to shave off my and I had some stress fractures in my femur and my tibia from all the pounding, and bone bruises, so they had to shave off all that, and they put the pieces over your femur and your tibias to act like, makeshift cartilage and meniscus and everything in there. But to give you a really good educated answer, no, I can't. I didn't do enough research. Sorry.
What do they replace? Do you know? Like, do they don't lop off the heads of your femur or your tibia? Or do they shave it down and
They
then
shave them down.
mold on a new material to
Yeah.
give some sort of mobility and cushion, and then they somehow bind it all together with fake crap?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I should have been like done more investigating, but to be honest, I really didn't want to know because then I think I would have been more like, that looks really painful. Or when I started watching the video and I saw him start to hang more, I'm like, okay, done. I don't need to know anymore.
So they cracked your bones. You had fractures in your femur from the surgery itself that needed to heal as well.
Oh no, they didn't crack my bones. I cracked my femur and my tibia because before surgery I was bone on bone and the
Oh,
pounding, the bones were hitting against each other so much. I had micro tears and stuff in there.
So this recovery was really just all the things that you can do. You had an ACL recovery and you had a stress fracture recovery and you had
Yeah,
microfracture recovery and all of that together. Meniscus
pretty
recovery. It
much.
was all the recoveries wrapped up into one.
All of it wrapped up into one. And I can tell you, even though I'm still in, I wouldn't even say pain, but I have discomfort. It swells up. Way less pain than I had before surgery. Way less. No ibuprofen. I don't have to take, I don't even feel the need to. I'll rub on some CBD oil, something like that. But
if I said,
like,
Darla, go run a
yeah,
mile right now. Go run a
yeah,
mile hard. Do you think you could do it?
yes.
And you think you could do it without changing your gait too much?
I think I'd be better than I was for sure. Yeah, because when I run on the Ultra G, you can you watch your feet. There's a video, and then you can also watch. They calibrate your gait, and I'm pretty even left to right, like pounds of pressure. Hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
So this leads me to a conversation. Um, you just mentioned like Bracken, you talked about like if I finally on my second, meniscus surgery, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna throw in the towel. Like somebody may say that, right? Like, you know what? It's enough. Running is clearly me and running are not. We're not in a relationship anymore, right? Um, so it's easy to do that with one or many of the things that you've had over the years. And I use this like this phrase or analogy with athletes who are kind of on the injury front, or they're sitting around moping, or they're not being assertive with their recovery or goals. It's like the old man who starts building birdhouses. You probably wonder where I'm going with this. You're like, why does my grandpa did this? Why is this guy building birdhouses all of a sudden? And why does he also have raspberry bushes in the backyard he spends hours a day playing with? And why is his lawn perfect now when it used to suck? And those who die in the chair, sitting on the sofa with their remote watching Maury Povich, they're gone. They're out of here. Give them 2
yeah,
to 4 years and they're out, right?
yeah,
They're not looking forward to the next thing or spending their time on anything productive. They die in the chair. And I think there's a
yeah.
mentality to that with injury and injury recovery as well. You telling your dogs to be quiet?
No, I'm telling my son. He just walked in
Oh,
the door.
I was like, because your dogs
Yeah.
are barking. I'm like, your dogs respond to that? You just shush them?
With the dogs, I just give them a look, and they're like,
So you're certainly not dying in the chair to Maury Povich, we will call it, right?
no, no.
So the question I'm walking you into is why? Why keep coming back? Why go through all this? Why spend just I'll start there. Why?
The why.
Why? Why are you so stubborn?
Yeah. That's a really good question. And I do other things too. Like I golfed since I was 8 years old. So everybody's like, just get back into golf, like focus on that. You can, you were always so good at that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I can golf more. Yeah, I'll do that too. But there's just Kirk, you and Bracken, both of you know, there's nothing like running, like just getting on that treadmill on Tuesday and sweating and getting my heart rate up to 160, that feeling, that elation, and then I miss being out on the trails and see just the beauty of nature and, all of that. I just love it so much. That's, I guess, what just the thought of not doing any of those things or having that feeling anymore. Because, I've been just cross training since my surgery, riding the stationary bike, walking on the treadmill at 15%, doing the rolling stairs. Elliptical. I do the elliptical without arms. I just like run on the elliptical. That gets my heart rate up probably, and the rolling stairs more than anything. But it's still not the same,
But
So
why even do that stuff? Like,
why?
here's the thing. I can name I could name 6 athletes I know personally right now who aren't doing their part. They're coming back from injury or they're making excuse after excuse. They're not going above and beyond to get themselves either 1, in shape while they're injured, so when they return to running they can, or 2, they're just not fighting for it, right? And
Mhm.
there's a whole host of athletes who are that I'm working with. You would be the shining star, leading example, you and a handful of others. But it's like, you just went through a major surgery. You took 2 effing weeks off, was it, after it?
Ye
And then you're already in the gym. You're on a 6 or 7 day a week program for me. You're working out 10 sessions a week between strength and cross training. You
Mhm.
don't like the elliptical. You don't like the stair mill. You don't like any of that BS crap you have to do, but you do it. It has as much to do with the fact that you're doing all the shit you don't want to do because the end goal and result is that important to you. And
Mhm.
I just wish it would get through people's thick skulls. That's all. And you're doing it.
Uh, yeah. Um, I guess it all comes down to personality too. I'm very type A, very driven. Uh, it's probably no surprise to you. I have ADHD. I can't sit still for very long. I'm very energetic. It's gotten me in trouble most of my life. So I guess that, and then just, I've always had a hard work ethic. And so maybe a lot of it's personality. It's just who I am. Always have been
Hmm.
driven.
One of the
Yeah.
fears,
I've been called tenacious a lot of times.
one of the fears people
And
have,
crazy.
am I
Sorry, Brakken.
no, it's all right. One of the fears people have though is that I'll never get my fitness back, especially once I'm not 25 anymore. That if I
Oh
go
yeah.
through these big things, it's not going to be waiting for me on the other side. And obviously, we like to preach the engine's engine, cross training works, but nothing works like running for running. So, in your experience, I feel like you have that perspective that a lot don't because you've managed to race throughout all of this and you keep coming back and you keep winning your age group every time you go out and being on the podium and everything. So, what has been your experience with that fitness loss during rehab?
Yeah. I have to toot Kirk's horn here a little bit. He has a lot to do with it. Um, he gives me my workouts, and again, being the type A person, what he tells me to do, I do. And so if I have a plan in front of me, that's what I have to do that day. And having that accountability and having him telling me what to do, helping me, supporting me, that keeps me motivated too. And just seeing the results after the injuries I've had since working with him, cross training through them, I know that if I keep my fitness level as high as it can be on these other modalities, that on the other side, I'm not going to be, you know, at my highest running capacity, but I'm not going to be where I would be if I hadn't been working the whole time. I won't have to dig myself out of a huge hole.
That's it's a good point. It's simple as like people often when they're injured will go off, they have a plan when they're running or a loose plan or hopefully a diligent training plan, and then they get injured and suddenly it's like the spring break of training, like nothing, there's no rules. It's just like I do this when I feel like it, or I try to do this. And then suddenly they're not attaining the appropriate stimulus and much less stimulus as well, usually on top of it. And so the
Mhm.
simple point of you just saying, as dumb as it is for me to just hear it out of your mouth and for it to be a light bulb moment, it's like it's as simple as making and having a plan and then sticking to it. We
Mhm.
suddenly lose sight of that when we're forced to cross train if running is our love. But that's the thing you've done is you've had a plan and then you just stick to it. And as a
Mhm.
45-minute tempo, which I know I've prescribed to you, Cross training, does that sound awesome? No, it's not. 45 minutes of grind on anything. You're doing run duration sessions on cross training that is far less stimulating. No, not very exciting. But yeah, it's just the plan. I think it's that
Mhm,
whether you make it yourself or you rip one offline or you hire a coach, that's what
mhm.
it is just having a plan when you're not able to run.
Yeah. And then knowing the why, because I wanna get back to racing. Again, that's my passion. Like, I wanna be out there racing until my feet fall off. You know what I mean? Like, or until it's impossible.
And
So,
honestly, they might, given your track record. Like, you might get there.
She'd be
well,
running on nubs.
Yeah.
Kirk was already like, we were using, I think it was your analogy, Bracken, like a bike with, 2 flat tires, and Kirk one day said to me, I was like a unicycle with on the rim or whatever,
There was something like that,
something
yeah.
like that. I'm like, "Yeah, that's about right." But yeah, so just being, competitive. I need that competition and that goal to get back at that.
Did you ever, have you ever actually thrown a pity party, hands in the air, like, "You know what? This actually is it." Have you ever given yourself the opportunity to be like, "It's over"?
Ye Well, so when I had the 3 torn hamstrings, so I had that surgery in, like, October 2019. No, 2018, and then I had my tibial osteotomy just 4 months later. So I was on crutches, non-weight bearing from for, like, almost 8 months, and for, like, 4 months recovery for each, and non-weight bearing, like, only on one leg. That's why my right quad, Kirk, to this day is still so much larger than my left one, and I have a lot of catching up to do. Um, I remember one day, like, I had to sit on a chair in the shower because I couldn't put weight on my left leg, and I just started crying. That was my low point. I was like, "This what am I doing? This sucks." And I just sat in there and cried, and then I got out of the shower, looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, "Suck it up," you know, "Get off your get out of this pity party," and I just had a hard talk with myself, and that was it. I'm like, "Okay, I'm done. Not gonna dwell in it. It is what it is. It's gonna be over." And now looking back at it, as horrible as that time was, it was not fun. Um It now it's like a blink of the eye, you know? It's like, wow, I hardly even remember that happening, but it was a dark time there for a little bit.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly time passes in both sides. Like, if you let
Mhm.
it go, suddenly it's race day in a blink of an eye and you've not
Yeah.
prepared. Like, 10 weeks to race day disappears in the blink of an eye, but so does 10 weeks of rehab. Now, one of them passes slower in the moment, but once you're
Mhm.
over it, they're both gone and it's barely even there anymore. And that's the
Yeah.
big piece I have struggled with in the past and that people struggle with is the thought of what 10 weeks or 10 months is going to be is too daunting.
Mm, mm.
And then suddenly it slips away and you've done nothing rather than just getting through it. And now it's over, but you've done something about it. Like, either way, you're going to be on the other side looking back and saying, where did the time go? So
Yeah.
you might as well be waiting with something in hand, but
Mhm.
it's not, it's not a simple task. And I'm the first one to admit I've struggled with that entire concept. And it
Mhm.
seems like your pity parties last shorter than most people. Like, you gave
Well,
yourself your pep talk right
yeah.
in that same time period, like
Yeah.
minutes later. Some people it's
Yeah.
weeks, some people it's months.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I would get down here and there, but I just even with this 6 months of no running, I didn't realize it was gonna be that long until after surgery. I'm sure he told me before surgery, but I think I might have blocked it out. And then after surgery, when I'm like, "When can I start running?" And he's like, "6 months." That was another, hard reality for me. But I've just been plugging away, and now I'm at 4.5 months. I've only got a month and a half left. I've just been going at it week by week. Okay, I got another week down, another week down, getting there, getting there. And what's harder for me, you guys, you still talk, even Kirk, he's like, I'm a master. And what are you now, Kirk? 42? And you're like, get 41, getting up there in age or whatever. I'm older than both of you guys. And so I don't have the grace of time on my hand. If all of this knee stuff would have happened when I was in my 20s, I would have gotten it taken care of. I would have had an ACL repair. I would have, done whatever. But that's why I put it off so long, is because I don't have that quality of race time left that I did in my young years, and that you guys still do.
What are you, 50 what? I hate to make you say it, but I know you don't like saying it, but it's inspiring.
I'll just say I'm in my mid-50s.
You know what, though, thinking about just if I can like zoom out a bit and think about your training the last at least 5 years, but really since 2018, you haven't been able to train and execute 100% in 7 years.
No,
You
no.
may be as, where's the blessings here? Even those hamstring attachments bother you from still, right? And
No, to be quite honest, that, knock on wood, I'm great, but
well,
I tore 2 more in my right side. They're torn at
right.
this time. Yeah.
Of course. What I'm getting at, okay, so you've mentioned your hamstrings hurting. So, okay, it's the other side. It's so hard to
See,
keep track with you. Is the point being is a lot of these other things that also were overshadowed by your knee are also having time to heal a bit as well, which is maybe a blessing in disguise. And so not like I need to put on these super rose tinted glasses or a 3/4 full glass. But there is a chance, barring your return to running goes semi well, that you're actually able to train at a level that you haven't been able to for quite a while, barring how
Yeah.
this goes. So there's a chance that not your best days are behind you. I mean, you PR'd in the marathon at what age? 47?
46.
46? And you ran how many marathons before that? Still PR'd? Plenty.
I've ran like 5 or 6 before that.
And then PR at 46? Yeah. So there's possibility here.
Oh, yeah.
And just outlines, okay, you mentioned this time period when you're feeling bad for yourself in the shower, when your stupid boots sitting on your stupid bench in the stupid shower, right?
Yeah.
What were you doing then for training? Did you just throw your hands in the air and be like, well, now I really can't do anything. Like I got a boot for 6 months. What were you doing then?
It was a leg brace. Kirk, you remember, I was coming into you and I was doing individual training sessions with you. And I have a video of me like doing pull-ups and then one-legged burpees. And you had me doing one-legged rowing. Yeah, everything was one-legged.
Right. I know what you did. I'm
Oh,
trying to help you outline that even during that time, what did we do? We went all
kept
in on
going.
strength. We went all in on strength. You were doing upper
Yes.
body, like this is my chance, and you got jacked. I
Yeah.
mean, you were like, the thickest I've ever seen you as far as like
Yeah.
muscle bulk. You were like, well, if I can't do these things, I'm going to work on these other things, and it's like finding what fruit you can still grab and hold
Yeah.
on to, right? And it was like you didn't like it was like there was no stagnancy. It wasn't, so what if I can't run? I'll crawl. And if I can't crawl, I'll do one-legged stupid burpees, right? Like it was like we did everything. You just did everything you could to the brink of allowance is what you did. And even then,
Yeah.
it'd be very easy to be like, oh, screw it. I have one leg right now. But
Yeah.
no, didn't we have you on like a 5-day-a-week split routine for upper body and core, and you were just like, it was like now you were a gym rat until you could use your other
Yeah.
leg again. Yeah.
Yeah. I got kind of
For
bulky, which I loved. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you, bulky, right, but you got
For me.
strong. So point being is
Yeah.
there's always, and Brakken knows this because Brakken, you've taken this approach with your strength, haven't you, a little bit post-surgery at times?
Yeah. Yeah, I tried it all.
Yeah.
And the one-arm assault bike and single leg work and whatever you can do, German volume training, but it doesn't
Yeah.
change the fact that you still have to do it.
Right.
So true.
Like those 6
And I
months
have
are
to also,
going to flash by. You just
yeah.
have to do it either way. You'd rather hold fitness than regret.
Oh,
And you know what else?
What?
Those 6 months go faster if you do something about it
Oh, yeah.
versus sit on your thumbs and be like, I'll just wait for it to heal and I'm gonna do it. That's the longest 6 months of your life. You want to make it go quick? Set your alarm for 4 in the morning, like you do, or whatever you do. Go to the gym,
Mhm.
stay in your routine. That's how it goes in a blink of an eye. It'll be the longest 6 months of your life if you just sat there on the
But
Yeah, well,
couch.
it's horrible.
I'm sure you can
But
speak to this, Darla.
I've also taken the time to, like, delve into other things that I don't always take the time to do that I love. Like, I play guitar, so I've been playing guitar a little bit more.
You
I've
play
had some more.
guitar? Do I even
Yeah,
know you?
yeah, you don't know. I used to play a lot of instruments. Music was my first passion. Um, so I've been, I use my time a little bit, and I've been doing a little more of that, and you know, just doing other things to also enrich my life. That sometimes I get too absorbed with my training and my running. So, yeah, just like you and your hunting, Kirk, and your
Yeah.
fishing.
Takes time away, but it also is, yeah, very, very good use of my time in my opinion. Bracken, you were gonna
Yeah,
say something?
Well,
yeah,
just a
Bracken.
reminder that returning to sport after an extended time away is either sequential or it's guesswork. It's almost like there's an airplane sitting on the runway, and you either put a pilot in there or you put an everyday person. Like the everyday person is going to get in there and they're not going to know exactly what throttle stick's going to feel like. And they're not sure when they need to pull up, like when they've got enough speed to take off. They're probably going to skip it or hop it or wait too long. Where the pilot is the person who's been cross training the whole time. Like they know what's underneath them. They know what it feels like. They know when they can trust the plane to take off and go. There's no guesswork like, will I gain altitude or will I come back down? Because they've practiced this thing. They know it. And that's the difference. I've done both approaches. I've sat after surgery and
Yeah, I
just
was gonna
waited
ask
until I
you.
was healthy.
I've been going on and on about my woes. How have you gotten through your surgeries?
The first two I did sequentially, and one I worked too much too soon. And you said the surgeon did a great job. I think one of my knees he did a great job, and the other was either a mess or he didn't do as good of a job. But that one took 3 times as long as the other one, and they were supposed to be the same surgery. But those two were scripted, they were sequential. And then my third surgery, I was like, you know what? Everything's bothering me. I'm just going to wait until I'm right and I'm going to get going. And then I got behind the wheel and I didn't know what the plane was going to do. Like, I don't know what I can handle right now because it's
Mhm.
not like I've been building up my hours of training and now I'm just removing one stimulus and adding another. Now I'm just starting out and I don't know if I can bear the weight. I don't know if I can take these hours. I instantly regretted all those weeks of waiting till it's right. Like, yeah, wait till it's right to damage it, to push it. But all the
Mhm.
other systems should be worked and can be worked. And if you don't, you just don't know what's waiting. And
Yeah.
I will never do a non-sequential rehab ever again. That whole wait until I'm healthy to go, it's comforting in theory, but
Mhm.
all you do is like you sit in your own head and wonder. Where at
That's what
least
I
like
would
Kirk
do.
said, if you're getting up every day to do it, you know exactly what you're doing. And then you start to see progress and feel progress and you gain momentum. And by the time you're correct or healthy or you're right again, you
Mhm.
already have the ball rolling. So
Right.
I've screwed it up and I've done it well and I've done it medium. Doing it well is the only one that's satisfying.
Yeah. For
I would like
like
to I would like to just interject because I'm thinking of two people in particular right now who, if they're listening, are probably feeling either a little bad about themselves or inspired or something, but they know they're not doing what we're talking about. Okay. And I want to talk to those people in particular who are limping through their injuries or their recovery. Um, and one is the first thing is don't let Darla's mindset get in the way of your recovery, meaning the first priority is to heal, and there are injuries in which sometimes you have to listen to, right? Like you had a boot on your foot and your leg, and you could not do things that wouldn't set you back. So you went and did biceps, which pay off zero in running, for example. But it's what
oh,
got
yeah.
you through, right? So, like the caveat being, I can think of one person in particular who's sitting there with a boot on right now and like can't really do anything. And like that is still the right answer sometimes for some people. it's not like nose to the grindstone no matter what. So like there are exceptions to these rules where rest is mandatory.
Oh,
You had to take
yeah.
weeks off, right? So just so you know, like you don't suck if like you're literally in a boot, but you could be doing gym stuff or you could be doing something. So just like one, like this rule should apply to most of you, but like there's periods of time where I've said this before on the podcast. I had 5 months off with 2 stress fractures in my foot, my last major injury, and was it 2000? I think 2000. So I'm going almost on 5 years this fall of being, knock on wood, relatively injury free. There's no question why I'm successful recently because I've been healthy. But point being is I should have been done with this at maximum 10 weeks, and my cross training set my recovery back. I was so diligent that it took me another 2.5 months before I could run. And if I went back and looked at it, it was like, Kirk, you idiot. There's like a give and take is what I'm getting. So not
Yeah.
Darla's mindset at the expense of your ability to return to running. There's caveats. So I just wanted to like say
100%.
that.
And also every situation is different. Listen to your doctor, number one. Like, don't do anything you shouldn't be doing. To a
I don't know
point,
about
like
that.
to a point. Like he said, no running. Okay, I'm gonna work the hell out of my
You
upper
don't know
body.
me, son.
Right?
You don't know me.
And that's what I said to the physical, his physician assistant. When she's like, no, you can't do that. Go talk to him. You don't know me. He knows me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I had another point there, but I forget it. I said what I wanted to say.
Well,
about
I'll
that.
jump in because this is one of those times where I think there's 2 examples here where the perfect is the enemy of the good. And I've talked
Yeah.
about this on here before, but like the perfect rehab plan is sometimes what's going to stop you from doing it.
What
Like
do you
you,
mean?
Kirk, had a perfect rehab plan. You were going to maximize your engine, but it also sets you back. Like
I
just do it.
never have even come close to having the Strava relative effort score for
Yeah.
the week since being injured. I doubled down that hard.
Yep.
That my output was higher than it's ever been in my life.
Yeah.
Look where it got me.
And if you would have just done a good job, he would have
100%.
healed quicker. But then on the other hand, Darla is kind of the example of the perfect, right? It's never a question. I can't sit still. I will not accept this. And people might look at that and be like, I could never do it like that. So I'm taking the weighted out route. It's like, no, don't let that perfect option prevent you from doing a good option. Like, so you're not going to be on the Alter G for 75 minutes, but maybe you'll be on the elliptical for 20. Like, don't let that perfect example keep you from doing a good example. Either side of this, that phrase just hits home more and more to me over the years. Like, don't avoid doing something okay just because you can't do it perfect. Be the okayest rehabber for a while. And that's going to lead to some good rehab. And that's going to lead to great. And maybe you get to perfect eventually. But if not, you come back with okay fitness rather than no fitness.
You made something that you said actually sticks with me, Brakken. This is something you've outlined on the podcast. I don't remember. You were new with the baby scene and the kids, and time was at a premium, or you were not managing your schedule well, or whatever it was. And you had this thing where, like, I'm at least a mile, right? The greasing the groove theory, and you would sneak out at 8:30 at night and go pound a mile at 6 minutes for no reason, cold, and then come back home. And I remember you've mentioned, and this is true. I mean, was that perfect? No. Was it good? It wasn't even good. Was it okay? Not even okay. It was like scoff worthy at best. But you did that in your times of pinch and strung together big workouts at times. And what happened? You came on the other side of that and you're like, I'm actually kind of fit still, or I'm kind of good shape, right?
And I was used to the act of running well.
Right.
Like, could I go run a great marathon? No. But could I start training for a marathon? Yeah, I could.
Just I think of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, who cares if it's 20 minutes when you're supposed to do 70? I'll take 20, whether it's due to pain or time or whatever. So, all right. You have questions, Brakken?
No, I feel alternately impassioned by this and called out by this because as everyone probably has caught on over the 5 years of this podcast, I am dialed when I'm dialed, and I miss a fair amount of training. Ever since we left Colorado and I stopped trying to do this as a quote unquote profession, I just can't consistently keep my nose to the grindstone anymore. And so I listen to Darla and I'm like, yeah, and I get impassioned. I speak about it like, you just have to do it. And then I sit back and I think, Andy, you're a hypocrite. And that's true. Like everyone listening is on one side or the other. You're either crushing it or you can do better. So, but either way, I think like this is perfect. I can do better here. and I'm also like crushing it sometimes. And every single person listening to this is in one of those two boats. So I'm just excited by this episode and embarrassed.
This isn't a comparative. It's an example
No.
episode.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people look at me and think, you're kind of crazy. My kids are like, Mom, just give it up. You got to stop. My son told me, I'm not going to take care of you for another knee replacement. Like, when he sees me going to work out again, he's like,
Yeah.
you just need to relax a little.
It comes at a cost, right? It's easy
Yeah.
to paint this like tough guy Rocky Balboa or
Yeah.
like just chase it thing, but it comes at a cost. There's been a lot of pain and suffering and money involved with this,
Money.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's a great reminder of what's possible. When you're sitting there
Yeah.
thinking, I don't even know if I can get this. Like, well, yeah, you can, because here's the upper limit. We see that exists, and it probably means that there's another notch or two that we can go up. Do we have to
Yeah.
go full Darla? No, we
No.
could. And I think a lot of us forget that we could do a little bit more if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and to outline again example wise, and then I want to ask you about your hopes and dreams, Darla, moving forward. But when all this started, single mother of 3
Mhm.
kids, one was
Mhm.
in middle school and high school when we first started working together, and you were going through all this. You
Mhm.
haven't had a hand. You had to work hard to buy your first freaking house as a single woman, like worked your ass off to be in this house you're talking to us in. Your alarm goes off at what time every morning?
Well, when I work out with you, 4:15.
Okay.
The other day is 4:45.
Oh, sleeping in.
Yeah.
Those, right? You are a person who maintains an active social life, meaning like you make it a point to like connect with your friends and whatever else is going on. You
Mhm.
work your 40 plus hours a week. That's not,
Mhm.
you've worked hard to progress in your business and company. It's not like there's people who are busier, of course. There's always somebody busier, but like you check all the boxes that could be like, if I wanted to make an excuse, I've got them.
Mhm.
Right? And you
Yeah.
haven't, and so there's gonna be people at home saying, "Well, yeah, but she probably has some posh life or some bougie husband who pays for all her crap," or this like, no. Like, you've earned everything you have, and your alarm still goes off. Like, there's no I couldn't point one thing to be like, "Yeah, this was a gimme for Darla." Like, this one thing is a gimme. Like, can you think of anything? I
That's a
can't.
gimme?
You just talked
No.
about paying for your daughter's college, for many years and, things
Yeah.
that you're still giving to others that, like, when you're already just, making work for yourself. So, like, there's just a lot going on here, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I s I when I got my divorce, I had nothing. I didn't have a bank account, I didn't have a savings account, I had $0 of my own. No job, I had been a stay-at-home mom for 14 years, and then I had to luckily, I had a couple college degrees behind my belt, and that helped me get a good job at a good company, and then I had to work my butt off to work my way up the ladder.
Mm.
But I had 3 little kids at home depending on me, so motivation right there, right? They're
Yeah,
number
now they're
1.
almost all aren't they all out of the house?
Well, my
One?
son my son still lives with me, and he goes to school. Actually, he graduates in a couple weeks here from college, and then he has his student teaching, and then he's going to Japan to teach in Japan. So yeah. So he'll be leaving, and then I'll be all alone. My other one's at the U of M. She lives off campus with friends. And then my oldest daughter, or she's my middle child, but my oldest daughter is in Florida, works down there
In the fitness world.
in the fitness world.
Mhm. So, okay, I think I've said enough. I've pumped you up enough. People are sick of probably hearing me do that. So, what do you do? What is your plan now? If you were to say, okay, now we've talked about working through injury.
Hmm.
Now what? Like, okay, I'm on the cusp. You're going to be able to get the green light to run in like 4 weeks or something, right?
Yeah.
Let's take me out of the equation, but I'll be writing your stuff. Like, you've had to reintroduce running so many times. What have you learned from
Mhm.
that process? From like the can't run to reintroducing running. What have you learned? And what would be your plan?
Um, uh, I've learned in the past that to keep my expectations in check. I'm not going to come right back and be peak fitness. So going to hurt for a few weeks. I'm going to have to build my fitness back up, even though I've been staying fit, like you said, but not race fit, right? So I got to build that back up. So my goal is just to, you know what I would love to do, Kirk? I would love to come back on your podcast in a year and not talk about injuries, talk about my successes or talk about other things. I don't want to be the poster child for injuries like I have been, that, ugh, I'm over it. So over it. I just want to get out there and have fun and not be thinking about being hurt. So, but anyway, yeah. So I'd like to try a high rocks race, like I kind of mentioned at the beginning. I want to get stronger, like muscle wise, and so you're got me on a plan to start doing that, heavier, less reps, and and then once I can start running as much as I can that can be tolerated by my knee, so that I can do the half marathon and the 10-miler in the fall. Maybe jump into the Spartan race.
Yeah, I think that adjusting expectations when you return, like you could be training 10 hours a week aerobically, cross training. You could be cross training more time than you were spending running before you got, injured or out. And you're not, it is the return to impact and how that demands the body. And as Brakken likes to talk about a lot, like the mechanical efficiency of running. She gone, and your ability to take impact of the running variety, as much as strength training helps, and it helps a ton, it doesn't replace the running. And so, even you, for example, running quarter mile repeats at like 6 flat pace on the Alter G, weren't you somewhere around 6 flat pace for your quarter miles at 80%?
Yeah.
Well, suddenly those are 7-minute pace
Right.
at full percent out on real terrain, and it's easy to get super beat up. And I remember every time you've come back, you're like, my metrics are so bad and they're so slow. And then about 4 to 6 weeks in, suddenly you start popping and clicking, but it doesn't happen. It's not like you just hit the ground where you left off. Your cross-training diligence isn't immediately rewarded. When it's rewarded is once you return to your resiliency to impact. There's fitness in there that you can't access because your structure is giving out first once you return to running. And so once you turn the corner and gain fitness fast, but it doesn't change the fact that your first 4 to 6 weeks are tough. That's been my personal experience anyways. Brakken, I think probably for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you're inefficient, and you
Yeah.
have to get that back. But if the engine's waiting, it's mostly skill work and impact work, and that catches up much quicker than building engine at the same time. But there's that tipping point. One day you realize, oh, this isn't awkward or cumbersome anymore. Suddenly my heart rate's down and my pace is up, and then you're just back. And there's no better feeling, I don't think, from a training standpoint than suddenly not thinking about the thing you used to think about. Whether it was gasping, whether it was pain's a big one. But as soon as the negative piece is gone and you realize that it's gone, there's this magical window where you notice it's gone every single time. And then eventually it just becomes normal. But until that normalcy wears off, it is the greatest feeling.
You mentioned that with something. You're coming back from your meniscus surgery. What was it you were talking about? You realized you weren't thinking about it because it's so easy to think about it every step when you're coming back from something.
Yeah. And at one point I just realized I wasn't thinking about how I need to lower my leg so it doesn't hurt. At some point I was just taking a normal stride and I realized it. And then it was like so joyful to take a normal stride. But then eventually it's just normal. But for a little while there, you're in that sweet spot of it's so exciting to just do the thing you wanted to do.
I can't wait to feel that.
I know. I want that for you.
Question, I guess, just because you talked about you want to be on this pod, and then I think we can wrap this thing up is asking you about what to look forward to in the future, and then you said I hope and come on here in a year and not talk about injury, which I sure want that for you as well. Have you done any reflection on like what you could do differently moving forward? Is there any like personal responsibility conversation going on in your head about like, okay, what could I change to prevent anything? Like, okay, like a lot of this feels like it's dumb luck to have these injuries, but have you thought about that? Like is it just crossing your fingers and saying, I hope I'm not injured this time next year? Do you know if there's anything you could do to prevent, or any thoughts you have on that?
I mean,
And
maybe when I was younger, I could have done things to prevent, been smarter, like when I started feeling something, maybe backing off a little bit or, what have you. But at this point in my age and the wear and tear of years on my joints and my muscles, uh, I think at this point, it's just a hope and a prayer. Like, let's just hope things keep working. Like he already told me my right knee uh is on the verge of like I'm missing cartilage there too. He goes, "You're gonna be back for another knee replacement." So I told him, uh, keep that on hold. We're gonna wait on that. But yeah, no, I don't know, Kirk. I guess I'll just have to play it by ear and like I said with this knee, uh, if it starts swelling up too bad, I'm gonna have to, back off or, just I'm just gonna use my head and be smart about it. Yeah.
did he give you a timeline on your other knee? We haven't discussed this. Did he say, at this rate or anything? You'd be,
Well, he said, you know, year or 2.
oh gosh.
So I say that's probably more like 5. No, I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
you have a
I'm
year or 2 to build up as much fitness as possible.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. And it has been good with I do have tears in my right hamstrings. 2 of them are torn. But I did that last fall. And this time off, I mean, I can still feel a little bit, but it has been good. And I've been working on my rehab, doing strength training to try and rehab those tears as well. So it's been good to have this downtime for that reason as well. Just have to stay positive. That's all I keep telling myself. Just stay positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wonder, it's not always the case, but you see a runner maybe, let's say, in their 60s or something that's still
Mhm.
running well and they're racing and they are a runner in the
Mhm.
classical sense. But when they used to run 70 miles a week, now they run 30 and they do this mobility program twice a week. They spend their time on it. Now they're going and doing yoga for range of motion stuff and they still are running well, but they found another formula,
Mhm.
right? Where they're like still available, but they're not, like, are we all going to run the same mileage at peak that we did in our 20s and 30s? Most likely not into perpetuity. And so there's always, I feel like there's like a formula for everybody where it's like, I can be happy with the amount of running I'm doing and the performances it gives me in conjunction with my own version of what this needs to look like now. Right. And I think you're going to have to
Yep.
find that. Right. I'm already a 5 day a week runner, not a 6 day a week runner. And I'm spending, like, I know I could run 6 days, but at what expense eventually. Right. And so
Mhm.
there's probably a version we got to figure out with you. So
Yeah.
maybe your knee replacement is in 5 years instead of 2, right? Like coming up with like a plan that way, which is what I like about hybrid for a lot of people because you have so many things to focus on that aren't running that sometimes it can be
Right.
a nice melting pot of stimulus. But
Yeah. And there's no way to predict the future. I'm just gonna have to, when I start running, take it day by day. How much can I do today? How much is my knee gonna let me run today? Or do I need to take a day off and hit the bike? You know, that's just gonna have to play itself out. I can't really predict the future, unfortunately.
I know be showing up and your alarm will be going off. So that's all I need to know.
Yeah. And you'll still have to put up with me in class.
Yes, I will. I think I'm satisfied. I think with I scratched the itches I wanting to scratch.
Well, I have a
Um,
final question.
Hit me.
We always hear a version of this question anytime we talk cross training or in Q&As, and it's what are the best exercises for maintaining running fitness? And we have an expert here. So, in all of your
I don't know
rehabs
about that.
and all your time away from running, what have
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
found yourself going back to for A, enjoyment, B, fitness building?
So I think what helps me mimic running the most is Kirk gives me like workouts that are like running based, but I'm converting them to a different machine. Um, Being on the elliptical machine and not using my arms and just doing the running motion and putting the resistance up high enough that it's work, you know, um, I can get my heart rate up pretty good, and I feel like I can do my interval workouts and the, kind of apples to apples, but running, it's the most comparative for me. Um, the rolling stairs, that that can kick your butt too if you like no arms, right? And just work, go at a higher speed. That's a really I can get super high heart rate on there. Well, not, but, I can get my heart rate up there. Um, some people find it on a bike. I mean, I can get a good workout in, but it's more like Mondays and Wednesdays are my kind of my recovery day. Kirk calls them like an hour of easy, steady training is what he always says. That I do on the bike. That's pretty easy, steady training for me. And then after one injury, Kirk, I don't remember which one it was, but I had both legs. You had me doing rowing workouts. And those were, but I did those with you there, standing there, yelling at me what to do. Um, if you have rowing, that, if done right, I got good workouts done on there too. But for me, sorry, answer your question short, the elliptical machine for me.
Okay.
No arms.
Which is a lot of work, by the way, folks. Like that, your legs burn like something else, I bet. So you
Mhm.
must brace the non-moving handles. So you're holding on to non-moving handles, or you're using your arms in the run motion?
Using my arms in the run motion, no holding on. And then, like, I'll do my interval hard, and then you'll say, like, let's, for example, 3 minutes hard, a minute easy, 3 minutes hard. So I do the 3 minutes hard, no hands, and then for the minute easy, I grab on and
Yeah.
use the arms. But when I'm supposed to be doing quality work, I'm pushing it, no arms. Yeah.
You happy with that one, Bracken? Does
I'm
that seem-
happy.
Do they not have an assault bike at the gym you use?
Oh, yeah,
Sand
that
bike?
too. And I should be doing that more because I know that could really kick my ass. But, I'm intimidated by it. I don't know why. I've done it before. It's hard. So maybe you could work with me on giving me how to do it correctly and really get a good workout on in there.
I didn't know you had access to one.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Mhm.
that's bad that you just informed me. The assault bike does not reward the sleight of frame. Like the assault bike rewards body weight,
Yeah.
like just mass, right? Which you don't have a lot of.
No. I'm I'm on the
It's
petite
like,
side, I guess you
well,
could
you
say.
put like a small person on the assault bike, and it's like it's a death sentence. They can't put out wattage like somebody who's less fit but
Oh,
much larger, right? It's just like
yeah.
it's one of those.
Right.
Yeah, it's the rich get richer, poor get poorer on that thing for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
if
thank you,
people
Darla.
want if people want to check out what you're doing, I think you've done a good job of kind of keeping people in your following up to date with your recovery process. Where can they do that?
I kinda tried to do, like, a little bit of a series right after my full knee replacement because I had a lot of people asking me to do so. They're like, "Let me know how it goes," and I was like, "Okay, I will," but I didn't know if anybody would be paying attention, but you wouldn't believe the number of people that, like, reach out to me and after I post something and say, "I have to have a knee replacement," or blah, 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 and it's really I've really gotten a lot of feedback from it. So, the little bit I did do. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's DE O'Connor 7. Yeah.
Easy enough.
Yeah. My
Did we
initial.
did we do the thing today, folks?
I
It's
don't
been done.
know. Bracken, I feel bad. I feel like I did all the talking and I didn't get to hear much from you.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Or Kirk.
The less our audio file shows up on these, the more the guest does, the better the interview was.
Well, I'm a talker, so you probably have a lot of me.
They
That's
get a
the
lot of
point.
us on Tuesdays.
Yeah, but I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's fun. Always fun to talk with you guys.
I'm glad I was here for it this time.
Yeah, me too, Bracken. Maybe I'll see you out at Afton this summer when you have your bro weekend.
Kirk and I were just talking that we have to get one on the docket.
Yeah. I think that's the last place. Well, maybe it was Highland. Either or. I've
Mhm.
seen you out there.
Yeah, Brakken and I still gotta coordinate that, but maybe it'll be out this way. And Darla, I appreciate you
Yeah.
playing hooky to record this. Hopefully nobody from
Yes.
work listens. Or
No,
you can
I've
cut
been
this out,
getting
Brakken.
my phone's been dinging. Getting
Okay.
emails. Time to
Well,
get
you gotta
back on
go.
it.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks, lady.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye, you guys.